subscribe to our channel Crazy Knowledge World and don't forget to click on the bell icon for instant notification of our new videos. Daniel was as excited as can be about the gift his girlfriend Jessica had gotten him that year. She'd arranged for them both to go skydiving in a couple of months. It would be the first time either of them had jumped out of a plane, and it promised to be a memorable event. It's something that the 25-year-old Daniel had wanted to do for some time. As an Army private, he was no stranger to blood-pumping situations. He'd been watching skydiving videos online for months before he knew about Jessica's gift, and after Christmas he ramped it up even more. When the day came, Daniel and Jessica went down to Skydive Carolina together with Daniel's mother Darlene. They get to know the instructors they were going to jump with. Daniel's guy was known by Chip and was a 49-year-old veteran skydiver with over 8,000 jumps under his belt. One by one, each person went diving. It was Jessica's turn, and then, after a break to put some distance between them, Daniel Farr and George Chip Steele plunged out into the blue. After a minute of free fall, Chip pulled the parachute and their fall slowed. He said, "It's surprising how quiet it is," to Chip, and he said, "Welcome to my world." After a few seconds, Daniel asked his instructor another question, and this time Chip didn't reply. He asked again and again, but no reply from Chip. Daniel then looked up at him and saw Chip was conscious, but Daniel realized something was wrong. Seeing that Chip was having some kind of health problem, Daniel was effectively on his own. He had to do all the work to get down to the ground by himself and try to help Chip. As coolly as possible, Daniel assessed his situation. He could see other parachutes going as scheduled from the other jumpers, but they were going the opposite direction. He knew he had to get back on course for the landing area, and having never skydived before, he would have to rely on what he'd learned watching countless skydiving videos. To adjust his course, he had to use the parachute steering toggles. But because the pack was strapped to Chip's back and Chip was strapped to his, Daniel could only reach one toggle, giving him the power just to turn right. But turning right is better than not turning at all when you're headed for a house. After he managed to make the course correction, he was headed toward trees and he turned again. Still, the ground was coming up fast. Daniel managed to position himself well enough for the impact that he didn't break any bones. He got out of the harness as quick as he could so he could tend to his instructor. Seeing Chip was completely unresponsive and not breathing, Daniel immediately began administering CPR. Daniel and Chip had landed about a third of a mile away from the airstrip where they were supposed to land, blocked from the view of spectators by the trees Daniel had swerved to avoid. As he tried his best to revive the instructor, Skydive Carolina's staff on the ground was rushing to them to help. Unfortunately, when paramedics arrived to take over for Daniel, they could tell that it was too late to save Chip. An autopsy would later show that he had suffered a heart attack in midair and had died as they approached the ground or sometime shortly thereafter. When the paramedics had a spare moment from trying to tend to Chip, Daniel asked them to borrow a phone to call his mother and girlfriend and tell them that he was safe. Though Chip Steele's death had been tragic, it had been something of a miracle that Daniel had made it safely to the ground, given he had no real skydiving experience. He attributes it entirely to the videos he watched and his ability to stay calm. Cool as he is, though, his parents forced him to agree to never go skydiving again. James LeBerry, the general manager of Skydive Carolina, was understandably hurt by the loss of his colleague and friend, but said that Chip would be so relieved to know that his tandem passenger was okay and unscathed. He loved skydiving and the joy that it brought to the thousands of first-time jumpers. Please like and share this video, and do leave your comments. Also, to get instant notification from our channel, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Sayonara.